Obviously, the pandemic has been a major setback for so many restaurant owners, but some are offering hope because they're beating the odds. Back with us now is celebrity chef Marcus Samuelsson. He's the author of the new book, The Rise: Black Cooks and the Soul of American Food. Marcus, why was it important for you to write this book, and why now?
I think storytelling and content and highlight the incredible contribution that African-American chefs have done to American food. What's important when I started the book, when I say, I started 4 years ago, but it's even more important when you go through a pandemic like this, because the chefs and the restaurants and the people in our industry that's going to have the hardest time to start again is Black and brown chefs that has a harder time to get access to capital, and it's also less generational wealth. So this was a very important time to tell these stories, to highlight them, to broadcast them. And yeah, I'm super happy that we could tell the story of The Rise.
And you've written,
sorry, go ahead, Sabil.
You've written about the blessing of being both an immigrant and a Black man, and that has given you the lens internally to be able to ask yourself, given the challenges I've been through, how do I deal with today or this issue in life? And you said that when it comes to America, some of the biggest issues are post-incarceration rehabilitation and employment. So how are you addressing that through your restaurants?
Well, first of all, restaurants are some of the biggest employers, independent restaurants in the country, right? And it was important for me to first show in the book that Black chefs, restaurateurs, and craftsmen are across the country. We at Red Rooster pre-pandemic, we employed 180 people. We served about 4,000 people a week. We also was employment for about 70 musicians. So it's about job creation, right? And these job creations in my community, in our communities, are game changing. They're on a path to healthcare, they're on a path to middle class if you work at a Red Rooster. So for me, it's about the authorship of the Black experience in terms of food. It's about creating memories for all of Americans to understand that we have contributed, and then aspirations so people want to go, the next generation wants to go to the industry. Yes, it's tough right now, but we're going to come out of this, and it's a fantastic industry to be part of.
So Marcus, I've got about a minute left with you here, and I want to ask you about something that you wrote about in your book. You said that The Rise stands on 3 pillars, and I want to pick up on this piece about authorship, where you say that Black Americans have contributed so much to this country's food and culture without proper acknowledgement, a pattern of erasure that continues to this day. The book then goes on to say we have to name it so we can claim it. So I want to ask you, what does claiming authorship look like for you, and what would the impact be? I know that's a hard to answer in about 60 seconds, but let's try.
Well, thank you for asking that. I do think the authorship is important, right? Because, for example, Mr. Nearest Green that came up with a recipe for Jack Daniels, if he could have claimed it and had the authorship for that, he didn't make $1 in coming up the recipe for one of the most iconic brown liquors in the world, right? That is a massive change in terms of his family and great-grandkids trajectory. Black people came up with the starting point of 4 cuisines in America. Southern, which we sometimes call a soul food, Low Country from the Carolinas, Creole cooking, and barbecue. These are all cuisines that African Americans experience and chefs has really contributed to. And the way we know about Italian cuisine or French cuisine, that's changed everything, the way we tourist, the way we interact with those countries. It's time for us as Americans to give the authorship to the people who created it. And then also this creates a conversation during the holiday season of appreciation of Black culture. The more we appreciate each other as a country through food, through music, we're going to have a better dialogue about race and identity. We have to get a better place. If we learn something from 2020, and we're going to have a new start, is that we have to have a better conversation, more delicious conversation around race, culture, and identity as Americans.
Well, we'll have to have you back on. Marcus Samuelsson, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays, guys.